Sean.
Mike?
What is this? A crossover episode? Yowza, yowza, bobowza.
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
Yay, second time's a charm. We did it right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to What Is This, a Crossover episode, a BoJack Horseman podcast starring the Squid Boys. Me, I'm Mike.
I'm Sean. I'm a squid boy.
You are a Squid Boy. You're my Ganbu for life. And we are covering episode 2 of season 4 of BoJack Horseman, The Old Sugarman Place.
Yeah.
I remarked last episode that this is one of my favorite episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And then right as we got on the call today, Sean was like, hey, this was a tough watch for me. And so, but then he wouldn't expound anymore on that.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm a little concerned that you don't like the same episode I like, Sean.
This is probably up there with the underwater episode. It's one of my favorite episodes that I've seen so far.
Okay, then what were you talking about off air?
So we kind of talked, I DM'd this about you. This was a tough watch because this was one of those episodes where, man, BoJack almost had it.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm watching it and I'm like, this is I don't know. I feel like this was almost a major turning point for BoJack.
Mm-hmm,
and we could talk about it, but then at the end, like, you know, he dive bombs off a cliff again. And that's that's the challenging. That was why it was a challenging watch for me. Was
that
because
makes sense. That makes sense.
You know, it was like I was like, man, I want to root for you, and I feel like this is like a really good place for you to be, but I know how this show works, so I know that this isn't gonna stick.
So this episode aired on September 8th, 2017. And I thought, you know, we could go over the same kind of like terrible deaths that happened.
They weren't that bad.
No, but I mean, whenever anybody dies, you know, you don't want to, you know, you don't celebrate.
We've just had worse, you know.
But because this episode takes flashbacks back to 1944.
Oh no. Oh no.
We're going to look at what happened.
Oh no.
In September of 9th of 1944.
Oh no.
Obviously, there were no musical charts.
Yeah.
So here's what happened. The Allied forces liberate Luxembourg.
Okay.
Huge.
Great.
Huge for the Allied forces.
Great for our boys overseas.
The Red Army supports coup in Bulgaria, instituting new communist government during the national uprising.
Okay, right. they were on our side at that point, so...
Yep.
WW, I guess.
Resistance fighter Jap Moosh is arrested in Nijverdal, Netherlands. I know I said all of that wrong.
Okay. That seems like a bad thing.
And the U.S. 113th Cavalry passes Belgian-Dutch borders.
Okay. All right, we're moving in.
One famous birthday, Olga de Haas, Dutch ballerina, was born in Amsterdam, Netherlands. She died in 1978, so not very old when she died.
That's really sad. 30-something?
That's tough.
34?
Yeah, 34. So, taken too soon.
Olga?
But Olga.
That's rough.
But yeah, I figured that we'd already switch it up, you know, episode
honestly,
2.
Honestly, first of all, love the switch up. Second of all, kind of a good day.
Big win for us.
You know,
big win that it wasn't terrible, because some terrible things happened in this episode.
Yeah.
Our friend Edvis rated this episode a 9 out of 10.
Okay.
And says, it was really nice to see ghost/backstory of everything. The main idea was very nice. That's impossible to fix everything. What is broken something, you have to remove it from your life.
I don't know.
Let me say that again. I want to make sure that resonates with you here, Sean. This is like when you're at church and like the pastor's like, let me say that again.
Yeah.
The main idea was very nice. That's impossible to fix everything. What is broken something, you have to remove it from your life. Amen, Edvis. Amen, brother.
I don't
Preach
know.
it.
I don't know if that was the message of the episode.
How could you glean what he was trying to say the message was out of that?
I do.
The main idea was very nice. That's impossible to fix everything. What is broken something, you have to remove it from your life.
Well, so here's kind of where I feel like
that made sense to you.
No, it doesn't. But I'm trying to like understand, right? And kind of like we've got the stuff with Eddie and how like he's broken over the death of his wife, and so he doesn't fly anymore because of the trauma and stuff. And like, so what I'm gleaming from what Edvis says is that if you're traumatized, you should never face your trauma. You should just cut it out and just ignore it.
Yeah, I don't know that we can say that's what Edvis is saying.
I don't know. That's the closest I can gleam out of what he said, and it doesn't sound right.
Yeah. No, I if what we think Edvis is saying is what we think he's saying, then yeah, I don't know that that's the message taken from this either.
But also, it's incomprehensible. So
yeah, also yeah.
I love how astounded you were that I had.
Yeah, you were like, yeah, that's not right, Edvis. How do you even know? How could someone know? All right, so let's get into this episode. I did not take notes.
Okay.
Because I've seen this episode a lot.
Okay.
And I honestly forgot to watch it before we recorded, but
okay.
I did in finishing up my closing duties at my job, getting Arby's for a late dinner and driving home. I watched it twice.
Holy shit!
So it's pretty fresh in my mind as well.
Okay.
I was driving watching Netflix. By the way,
no!
So,
Don't say that.
Fine. It's fine.
Don't.
Honestly, out of the driving we see in this episode, I was the safest of the three.
I mean, you are right, but also, I don't know.
Hey, this is like listening to our show is like a lot like watching Jackass. It's like we're gonna do things. That doesn't mean you should emulate them.
Yeah. There's a little disclaimer at the beginning of every episode. Just
Yeah.
We are professionals. Do not try this at home.
And speaking of being professional, I didn't do the thing that I always do where I say, this episode got a 9.4 out of 10 on IMDb rating. And the synopsis is, Bojack goes off the grid and winds up at his grandparents' dilapidated home in Michigan, where he reflects on his family legacy and befriends another soul haunted by the past.
That was a professional segue.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So this we open up, actually, with the ending of the last season, where Bojack was accelerating his Tesla to the point and letting the wheel go where it seemed like he wanted to end his life, and he gets distracted by a wandering group of galloping horses.
Yeah.
And so we start with that moment where the season cut last season, and Diane calls him, and he ignores the call. He goes to answer it, but he takes too long.
Yes.
And it goes to a missed call. And the horses run off, and he gets right back in his Tesla. And so I guess my question for you to start off, Sean, is he was obviously, he was obviously mesmerized by these horses.
Yeah.
But why, theoretically, why do you think he didn't just like get right back in his car and attempt to do what he was going to do?
I think that's when he decided, I'm going to go to his, my grandparents' place.
No, I disagree.
Oh, really?
I disagree.
Okay.
Yeah, because, and I'll tell you in a moment why. What we get next is a kind of a montage of him traveling to Horse with No Name cover, performed by Patrick Carney of the Black Keys and Michelle Branch.
Okay.
Michelle Branch, classic songstress, big fan, Michelle Branch. And there's a moment where, there's some gags where he realizes, oh, this is a Tesla and I have to charge it.
Yeah, that was funny.
But he goes to a diner, and at the diner, he gets coffee, and the sugar cube he uses is his father's company.
Yeah.
Sugarman Sugar, family owned for 100 years, currently owned by the Fukusaka family of international conglomerates.
Okay.
And I believe that's when he decides to go.
Yeah, no, you're probably right.
Because I think he's just kind of wandering, because they show him, in deserts and stuff. And
so
then
he
goes...
Yeah, I don't know. Then I guess he's kind of like just inspired to wander, inspired to run
Yeah.
free, by the
Yeah,
by the
maybe he
horses.
decides, I'm not ready to end my life, but I don't know what I'm doing, right?
So maybe I'm just
Um,
gonna ride free for a while.
yeah. So he at that point, there's this really cool scene where he kind of parks his car on the side of the road at night to sleep,
Yes.
and he looks up at the sky, and it's a beautiful looking sky, and it's a bit reminiscent of being in the planetarium with Sarah Lynn.
Yeah.
Maybe not intentionally, but a bit of a callback there.
Hmm.
They always, whenever they do like the sky in this show in that way, it always looks so cool because it's not the same like animation style. Obviously, it's just like this like very surreal looking thing to have this cartoon horse be in front of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, the song plays through, and he ends up at the Sugarman home, which is dilapidated,
Yes.
in Michigan, in Harper's Landing, Michigan, which Harper's Landing is not a real place.
Okay, that was going to be my question to you.
But I don't know if you remember in season 1.
I don't.
In season 1, when we have the penultimate episode where he trips.
Yeah.
With Sarah Lynn and Todd.
Yeah.
And he has that dream about living with the deer woman. What is her name?
Oh, I can't think of her name.
Wow. Yeah, that's bad. But who he later goes and lives with. Like he tries to follow this dream. But they are in this lake that is in front of this house. And they are at this house.
Huh, okay. Wow, God, this show's really fucking good.
And the kid that they have in this daydream is named Harper.
Oh, interesting.
Yep.
Man,
so,
man, yeah.
They're very good. Their attention to detail is very, very important in the show. And it's stuff that you'll miss if you're not paying attention. And, I kind of forgot some of that too until I rewatched it today. And I was like, oh, Harper, that's the name of his kid that he imagines. And that it's the same lake and the same house, basically, the same cabin. So then he gets there, and obviously we get the opening once he enters the house, because he looks at a family portrait that shows Joseph Sugarman, his grandfather, and Honey Sugarman, his grandmother, and his mom, and his uncle Crackerjack, with a family photo. And then we get to the intro, and BoJack at that point goes to use the sink in this house, and this house is dilapidated and it doesn't work, so he goes to the local hardware store.
Well, not quite yet.
Oh, that's right. No, we have the flashback first, don't we?
Yes, we get our first flashback right after the opening.
So the way this episode kind of works is, as BoJack's doing things in the house, we also get a flashback to a particular time in his family's life. And we meet these 4 characters, which we already knew Beatrice, but we know a very old version of Beatrice.
Yep.
Joseph Sugarman, voiced by Matthew Broderick.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And Joseph Sugarman has some of the craziest one-liners that we've heard in BoJack. And this is a show that has... This show has crazy one-liners, and this guy is he's coming off the bench just shooting. You know what I mean?
Yeah. In this opening, he talks about his job, and he says that he has to compliment his secretary on her tight sweaters.
Yes, and says it in a way that, like, this is part of my job, and I have to get back to work to do this. And Honey Sugarman, voiced by Jane Krakowski, is very thankful for the sacrifice he makes for their lives. This is very a lot of the things she says to young Beatrice too is very like, I think at one point Beatrice tries to lift a suitcase and she goes, "Don't lift that, you'll tear your uterus." And just like you really get a good idea for kind of why Beatrice is the way she is, right? And how she's not completely, but like you can start to get some of this. Yeah, well, some of the seeds planted here throughout this episode of, she, and it kind of ties in with like one of the messages of the show is that, people are very much affected by their childhood trauma, you know.
Yes. One of the other crazy lines, just when you're talking about the stuff that she says, is she says to Beatrice, ice cream is for boys.
Yeah. Iced cream. Iced cream is for boys. Why don't you put some sugar on a lemon? That's a good girl snack.
Yeah.
And then at some point, Cracker Jack enters, their son, played by Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Wait, are you fucking serious?
Yes, 100%. And I wanna bring this up because they really cast Lin-Manuel Miranda to phone in a fucking singing performance. He's like doing his character's voice while he's singing, so I think that's part of it. But he doesn't sound great.
Well, also, I don't know how much you know about Lin-Manuel Miranda, but he's not a good singer.
No, he's not. He's not. But you would at least think he'd be better than the average person.
I think,
you know what I mean?
I think that, this would be like more of a Lin-Manuel Miranda thing if he got to rap during it,
That's true. That's true.
That's more his bag.
Yeah. But he sounds pretty awful when he sits down with his mother, and it seems like this is something they do a lot.
It is kind of a sweet scene.
Joseph is kind of like, oh, come on, you two. We have to take our family photo. And they sing this song called I Will Always Think of You. And I was saying this, I think, to you. This episode, 2017.
I'm really curious of this is very reminiscent of a prominent plot thread in Hamilton.
Really?
Yeah. This whole.
So you think they maybe cast him because of that?
I don't know if that's so. The whole thing is, I mean, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, it is incredibly relevant. Is there's a plot thread in the second act of the play where Hamilton's son is, growing up, and he has the same tradition with his mother about like they sing and they play the piano together, and she teaches him how to play the piano and stuff. And then spoilers for Hamilton, Hamilton's son dies in a duel, and as he's dying, his mom and him are doing like a rendition of the song they used to sing while they played the piano as he's like as he's passing. So actually, I don't know if that was intentional, but it is interesting. It is like not obviously not a one-to-one, but very strong connections between the story of Hamilton's son and Cracker Jack.
Interesting. I didn't know that. I'm not a Hamilton guy.
Yeah.
But I will say this song, I Will Always Think of You. I always thought, and I think I said this off air to you, that this was like an old song. But this was actually written by Jesse Novak, who does all the music for the show, and the lyrics were written by Kate Purdy, who's a producer on BoJack Horseman, among other things. So they wrote this song for the show, but it sounds like it's a really, I really like the song. There was one year where this was on my Spotify Rewind, like my top 100 songs, because I really like this song.
Well, now that I know it's on Spotify, it'll probably end up on mine.
Yes. Yeah,
this leads me to kind of a larger point I think this is some of the, I think that this episode has some of the best technical writing in the show so far, in how quickly it is able to like draw me into a different time with these characters in a way that is both grounded and ridiculous in the way that I would expect from the show. Just, I don't know, incredibly impressive. Like, it's not the most, like thought-provoking dialogue that we've had so far.
No.
But it is like, it definitely feels like a different time in a way that both feels authentic and also, parody-esque.
Yeah, it's very parody because there's a lot of like things they say that are like, this is how I imagine people in the 40s in America talked, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's very out there and like making fun of it. Like, I think at one point she says, my hands are doing the Watusi in 3/4 time. It's like, what are you talking about? That's not, no, people didn't even talk like that back then. You know what I mean? Or even his Cracker Jack's military buddy shows up with him, and Matthew Broderick's character is like, why don't you go get yourself a Freezy Pop? It's like, that's not
but then
real.
But then it has lines like, I mean, this might be kind of a goofy line, but I really liked it, of like, believe it or not, time's arrow neither stands still nor reverses. It only marches forward. Like, or it merely marches forward. Like, I don't know. There's something very elegant about some of the dialogue in this.
So
That I think works.
I think it's really funny that you've pointed out that line specifically, because that line, not to spoil anything, because I don't think this is spoiling by saying this, but that line's very important.
Interesting.
To this season, and the penultimate episode of this season is titled Time's Arrow.
Interesting. Okay, that's exciting.
It's yeah. I'm very impressed you sussed that out. Because it's an important part of this season.
Okay, yeah.
So we're kind of dancing all over the place with this episode, but basically they take their family picture after what they establish here is, one, there's going to be a war. Two, Joseph Sugarman is not a great husband.
No.
But Honey Sugarman seems like a woman who's full of life, right?
Yeah.
And she has a very close relationship with her son, who's going off to war.
Yeah.
We also get her what seems to be her catchphrase is, "I have half a mind to do this."
Yeah.
Which is important for later as well.
It's also interesting. I don't know. I like, that's something my grandma says all the fucking time.
Yeah. It was a very common phrase back then.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, but it's just, so it's like, it is like kind of her catchphrase, but also it feels very authentic.
Yeah. Agreed. So now we get BoJack breaking the sink and going to the hardware store, where we meet Tamara and Tamara.
This fucking scene.
Yeah, this scene's great because BoJack doesn't want to admit he's BoJack, but he's such an egomaniac. He also can't take any BoJack slander.
No.
He's not. I'm not too fat to be BoJack.
Oh, you're right. BoJack is much fatter.
Yeah. And then he's like, no, he's not much fatter. We're about the same amount of fatness, not fatness. And then they were like, hey, this the cart boy, the donkey cart boy looks like BoJack, and it's like this slack to as donkey kid. And he's like, no, he doesn't look anything like Mr. Horseman.
Yeah. They say some really, really aggressively personal and wrong time, wrong place things about Sarah Lynn, asking what happened when she died, in very
we heard you took her to the hospital. Yeah, it's a tough thing, and he doesn't want to talk about that, and he also doesn't want to admit he's BoJack.
Yeah.
And they are very annoying. I don't remember if it's in this scene or if it's in a one of the later scenes, but as a Michigan man, I have to mention this. At one point, she's reading Petoskey Stone magazine.
Okay.
Which obviously is a pun on Rolling Stone, but Petoskey stones are the official stone of Michigan.
Oh, interesting.
And they are specifically located in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan.
Okay.
And people in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan kind of talk like this, and they, oh, did you find yourself a Petoskey stone? So I thought that was a pretty funny Michigan joke there, and I wanted to call that out.
Yeah, that's the same scene when we find out that BoJack is being played in this Sarah Lynn story about
yes, because he goes back there later, and the running joke of BoJack being played in movies and television by short, fat, bald men.
Yeah. And he's being played by Paul Giamatti.
Which later when we see that scene, it is actually Paul Giamatti.
That's funny.
Yeah. Which again, hilarious. I'm trying to think when the next flashback is.
He talks to Eddie for a second, and then there's a flashback.
Yeah, we meet Eddie, who is upset that the cabin's still there because it's dilapidated and that the door's not fixed because it looks bad. And I'm trying to think what flashback this is because it's not.
So it is.
Cracker Jack hasn't died yet.
No, they are. That's when we get the "you'll rupture your uterus" line.
Yeah, we get the rupture. I think they're packing up to leave the house. I think that's basically what it is. Because it's their summer home.
Yeah. He goes. Yeah. He goes. We're packing up to leave the summer house. Oh, I don't want to leave our summer house. Well, don't worry. It'll always be here, like polio and blackface.
That's what it was. I was like, there's something funny that he says. It will always be around, like polio and blackface. And it's literally the only flashback part we see is just that quick scene.
Yeah.
And Bojack breaks something else and has to go to the hardware store, and that's when they bring up the Paul Giamatti thing.
And Eddie has a line where he's like, hey, we got a saying in Michigan, put your damn door back on or you're going to freeze to death, you stupid horse.
That's actually something we say.
Is it really? That's crazy.
Accurate. Yeah, I say that all the time.
Wow, okay.
I say that all the time.
Can you talk about who plays Eddie, by the way, really quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Voiced by Coleman Domingo, who I'm kind of obsessed with right now, even though I've never seen him in anything. I've just been watching. Why are you
obsessed with him then?
Because I don't know why, but I've been getting so many clips of interviews of him, and he just has aura, dude. Like he's so cool.
He's really good in this too,
and he's really great in this. This is my first Coleman Domingo performance, and he's great in this. So yeah, I'm even though I have only seen him voice a fucking fly in BoJack Horseman, I'm a big fan.
I'm gonna bring this up now.
Yeah. Is
he a dragonfly? Bojack calls him a dragonfly.
I think Bojack might just be racist.
I don't think he's a dragonfly. I think he's just like a fly.
Again, possibly just being racist.
A dragonfly would have a much longer body.
Although, you know what? I mean, yeah, but God, he kind of does look like one. Like, if you, like, this is the picture I just pulled up. I just sent it to you. Like, the blue eyes, I don't know, the wings kind of, like, he definitely doesn't have the length of a dragonfly, but it does look like that's what they're going for.
Yeah, I disagree. Meaning, not that I disagree with you, I disagree with if they think that's what a dragonfly looks like, I disagree with them.
Well, I think they're trying to make a certain, like, caricature or like a certain archetype. Like, I don't know. He's a very standard character. Like, I've seen this character in a million things. You know, not that means there's, you know, he's not as good or anything, but like, I don't know. I look at him and I know the kind of character he is. Yeah, you know, and I think true. I think that's probably why maybe the like anthropomorphic side of it isn't as solid.
Bojack doesn't listen to Eddie's advice and fix the door, and it becomes winter in Michigan. Because, like I talked about last episode, this kind of covers what Bojack was doing the whole time the last episode was going on with See Mr. Peanut Butter Run. And winter happens, and it gets fucking cold here, man. And I don't know exactly where in Michigan they're supposed to be, but if it's like, it's probably pretty far north if it's like one of these lake houses, and it's gonna get fucking cold. And he's freezing while watching this Sarah Lynn show, this bio show, and we see Paul Giamatti kind of acting and saddened by the death of Sarah Lynn. But at the same time, we get a flashback that's happening where the three members of the family arrive because they're looking for the blankie that Cracker Jack left for Beatrice to watch. And it's definitely in a manic thing for Honey because Cracker Jack has died in war.
Yeah.
And she even made them
Blinky
come up there in the winter.
Have stopped that Nazi's bullet.
Yeah, he says.
I do want to say, this maybe is some of my favorite animation in the whole show so far. The way that it overlays the flashback as this kind of like dim, translucent, where it's around the characters, right? So like as Honey Sugarman, you know, walks away from the other two, the space between them is Bojack's reality, right?
Right.
And then like as Beatrice starts to go upstairs, the space between her and like it's just the flashback is surrounding the characters in a way that is so impressive and must have been so difficult to do.
It fits in with Joseph's line at the end, the only thing here in the winter are ghosts.
What again, this is where I'm like, dude, like we're talking about like there's some silly lines in this fight. There's a lot of silly lines in this episode. Even Blinky couldn't have stopped that Nazi's bullet. Like, you know.
Yeah.
If anyone's to blame, it's the Jews for pissing off Hitler so bad. Like, it's like, yeah. But then you get stuff like, you get the stuff about the, like, you know, Times Arrow, and you get, there's only ghosts here in the winter. Like, that's a beautiful fucking line. You know? Yeah. It's so good. This is such a good episode, man. It's such a painful episode to watch because I just want Bojack to like stay. I don't want him to call. We'll get to it at the end, but I just want him to stay, and I know he's not going to.
Eddie starts fixing the door.
Yep.
As Bojack's freezing, and Bojack's like, "Hey, stop fixing my door!" And he breaks it. Then he comes back and fixes it again.
Did you fix my door? That's a dick move, buddy.
Earlier, we didn't touch on this, but earlier when he first interacted with Eddie, he says that house or that door is the cherry on the shit sandwich. And Bojack says, what kind of sandwich has a cherry on top? And he goes, why don't you worry about fixing your door instead of fixing my metaphor? But then later, Bojack now is like, well, call me a Kit Kat because I'm already broken.
It's
and he goes,
really good.
Kit Kats aren't broken. That's the point. And it's funny because you could see how these two characters could get along and be friends because they're very similar in a lot of ways.
This could be a whole fucking sitcom.
It could be. Yes,
also,
absolutely.
When he comes into the house and he sees how fucked up everything is, the power saw is
just running along the floor.
They also have a joke about about termites where Eddie's like, and the termites, I see you guys down there, get out of here. And it's like two kids fucking around, at like the old dilapidated
Bobby
house.
And Susan. So he said, let me go get my tools. And Bojack's like, all right, I guess if it means a lot to you, you can help me. They also bond over the fact that they both hate Tamara and Tamara at the hardware store. And so they start fixing the house up together. And over time, we see kind of like a time lapse, but there's a couple conversations they have. And one of them is Eddie starts to ask him, are you, and he's going to say related to Joseph Sugarman, but Bojack in his hubris is, Bojack Horseman? No, I'm not Bojack Horseman, and goes on this like long-winded, like maybe he is living the normal life now, and maybe he is in this room.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know who Bojack Horseman is. But then he later asks about Joseph Sugarman, and he goes, yeah, it's my mom and I are the only ones left in our family, and once we die, that's it. And he goes, good.
Yeah. So, I can't remember if I knew this. Did I know his mother was still alive?
Yes.
Okay.
They haven't said she was dead.
Okay.
I don't know that they've shown her in a
like modern present.
There was they did have her that he had lunch with her.
Okay.
During the Horse and Around era.
Okay, but it's been a while since then.
We haven't seen her in modern day, so to speak, but they also haven't said, hey, my mom's dead.
I don't know why, but I just kind of assumed she was dead. Yeah. So that kind of caught me off guard.
Yeah. So they start fixing up the house, and then time passes, and the winter becomes the spring, and he's painting the Sugarman name on the mailbox, and Eddie goes, all right, that's it. Have a nice life, Hambone. And he's like, why'd you call me that? And he goes, you told me that was your name, Hambone, not real Namington. And he's like, oh, yeah, okay. And Bojack goes into the house, and you can tell it feels off to him. He's like, man, we had, you can tell he had a good time fixing up this house with Eddie, and, but he can't, admit, I'd want to spend more time with this guy. But then he sees a picture of his mother hula hooping, and there is a weather vane on the roof that's not there.
Yeah.
And at the same moment.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just saying, at the same time this is happening, there's another flashback happening.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the house, just of his great grandfather pretty much dropping the women off at the house and being like, all right. He says, as a modern American man, I am woefully unprepared to manage a woman's emotion. I was never taught, and I will not learn. And he gets in the car and fucking drives away.
He goes, good luck to both of you.
Yeah.
And then leaves. And you can tell that Honey is still pretty distraught over the death of Cracker Jack.
Yeah, in a really bad space.
Yes, not doing well. And poor Beatrice is just kind of along for the ride. But Bojack goes and points this out to Eddie, who goes, look at this. He goes, yes, you have a very attractive mother. And Bojack's like, why would I even, never mind, it's the weather vane. And Eddie's like, hey, I know where this is. And kind of goes into his house, and he doesn't invite Bojack in, but Bojack's like, oh, okay, I'll follow. and he pulls out what I would assume is a wedding tape of him and his wife.
Yeah.
Flying in front of a barn, and you can tell this is something he has watched a lot.
Yep.
Because how else would you notice a random weather vane in the background?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And he pauses on it, and Bojack goes, look, there it is right there. And Eddie's surprised he's there, and he's like, you can't be in here. And we didn't mention this.
Yeah, there's an important little subplot happening.
There's an important subplot that he talks about. He doesn't fly.
Yeah.
That's why he doesn't leave for the winter. And Bojack's like, you can get on a plane. He goes, no, I don't fly. And Bojack's like, hey, you're flying in this video. And he goes, I didn't say I can't fly. I said I don't fly. And Bojack's like, fine. And they kind of reference that this is like kind of a trope. Fine, don't tell me about your obviously dead wife and why that gave you a fear of flying. Just keep it to yourself, right? So they kind of reference that, like, this is obviously what's going on, and it's a bit of a trope. And so we get to a flashback then with Honey and Beatrice, and there's fireworks going off because the war is over, and, quote, we dropped a bomb on the Japanese and everybody is happy.
They're talking about how they need to celebrate, and and his grandmother goes, I've got half a mind to paint things redder than the beaches of Normandy.
And then she's like, too soon?
Oh my God, that's insane.
Which is not a thing people said back then, for the record.
No. But also, holy fucking shit.
Yeah. So they decide to go celebrate, and wouldn't you have it, both timelines end up in the same place.
Yes.
Which is this like kind of barn community area of this small town. Eddie comes up with the plan to have Bojack go on the roof to get the weather vane while he distracts everybody with the piano. Bojack's like, yeah, have the 1,200 pound horse go up on the roof instead of the dragonfly who can literally fly. And he realizes Eddie walked away and is not listening to him.
No, of course.
And Eddie goes to the piano and he goes, I'm going to play a song. Everybody look at me. Don't look up on that barn roof. But then what happens now is my favorite moment of the episode, and one of my favorite moments in BoJack overall, is Eddie plays the song from earlier, I Will Always Think of You, and him and Honey, with the two timelines kind of converging, have a duet where they sing it together.
It's incredible. And it really just so like encapsulates the whole "it's only ghosts here in the winter" thing of like the ghosts of the past hanging around during this. I don't know, when they first like fade in, like they've got this kind of rough outline to them. It's just it's really good.
And it both Jane Krakowski and Coleman Domingo absolutely kill it. They both sound great.
Yep.
It's a very poignant song. Like, I should have known that the song was written for this because like the lyrics are so poignant to like the whole story. But I was like, man, that really fits well. It's crazy they found this song, but it's so good. I don't know that I can do it justice just talking about it. If you haven't seen it for some reason and you're listening to this episode, what are you doing? Go watch the show. But go watch that scene even.
It's so good.
Just, Bojack steals the weather vane while it's happening. But
everybody begins to crash the fuck out.
So Eddie and Honey in their own time begin to crash out. Eddie's crying on the piano. And as Bojack's trying to get him to go, the crab guys that stole it originally are like, yeah, we stole that fair and square. Like, they have these like crazy accents I don't even understand. But there begins like kind of a Looney Tunes chase.
They start to crash out. Everybody's fucking crashing out.
But in the past, Honey starts chugging beers, and then she finds Sally, who is Cracker Jack's friend who survived the war, and she starts pleading with him, tell me what happened when he was shot. How did he look? And then she like kisses him. And he's like, Mrs. Sugarman, get a hold of yourself. And then the like owner comes over and he goes, do the responsible thing. Have one more drink to steady your nerves, then drive yourself and your young daughter home. Like, and she's like, no, don't make me go back to that empty house. And you can tell she is not doing well mentally.
No.
Gets Beatrice to drive, actually, she's
Yes.
never driven before. And she says it's like finding a hobo in a pot of beans or something like that. And at the same time, Bojack finally gets Eddie to get up from the piano, and they get in the car to drive away, and Eddie yells, "We're hooligans!" And I don't know, something about that just makes me very happy. And there have been a few times in my life where I've yelled, "We're hooligans!" like that. And I don't feel like anybody's ever gotten what I was referencing, but I don't care because I think it's funny.
Yeah.
So they get away from the crabmen, but in the past, it doesn't go so well. Honey's still crashing out. She goes, "I want to feel alive," and puts her foot down on the gas pedal, and they crash the car.
Yeah.
And you can see in the future that there's a dent in that building still from where they crashed the car, which I thought was a nice touch.
Yeah, that's a really, really, really good touch.
Yep. You know, they're like, "All right, that's it. The house is complete." And Bojack's like, "I wish there was a way I could repay you for, helping me with all this." And he's kind of like, "Don't mention it." But Bojack just can't leave well enough alone, right?
No.
And so he pushes himself off the ladder into the gazebo and falls. And Eddie flies down to check on him, not even thinking about it.
Yeah.
And what'd you do that for? "I thought you'd fly down and save me." "Well, I told you I don't fly." And he's like, "You're flying right now, asshole."
Well, I love, he says that, "I thought you would fly to save me." And he goes, "And by flying to save, and by making you fly to save me, I would be saving you."
Right. It's all some twisted thing for Bojack's ego in the end. And Eddie is very upset that he flew because it sounds like he made some oath when his wife died that he would never fly again. And "You made me do that. Do you want to fly?" And he starts to take Bojack high up in the air. And do you want to know how she felt when she got sucked into the plane engine?
Yeah.
She wanted to turn back, and I wanted to see how high we could go. And he's very deranged here.
Yeah.
And they end up plane height, and Bojack happens to elbow him.
Yeah.
So he kind of falls and let go, and they avoid the plane. And they fall into the lake. Now, this is a nitpick.
Uh-huh.
They would fucking die.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
If you're high enough to where you could hit a plane and you fall into a lake, you're dead.
Yeah. I mean, I guess there's also...
Artistically, that doesn't make sense.
There's also, like, who's to say that actually happened that way? It could be a visual... Like, who's to say they actually went that high up and that there was actually the plane and everything? Like, it could have been...
For sure. But that it doesn't take me out of it, but I always think about it.
No, it's definitely like especially a fucking fly.
Yeah. So Bojack swims out and pulls Eddie out and saves him, and Eddie yells at him, "Why did you save me? I wanted to die."
Yeah.
And it's very tough. It's very tough, and Bojack kind of walks away pissed off, and
I know that these things are happening concurrently, but for the sake of being able to talk about it a little bit better, let's talk about the conclusion of each of the halves of the story.
Yeah, we could just conclude the Bojack part. So I think it's probably the next day. Bojack has a wrecking crew there for the house, and Eddie's like, "What are you doing?" And he goes, "Oh, I'm knocking down this piece of junk,
Yeah.
And he's like, "But we just spent 8 months restoring it." And
well, sorry, there is a scene in between that.
Oh, is there?
Because the reason he does the wrecking ball is he calls Diane.
That's right. He calls Diane. That she's very welcoming to Bojack, despite the fact that one of the voicemails she left was like, "Hey, you kind of abandoned me here."
Yeah.
She's like, "No, it's okay. Tell me what's going on." He's like, "I'm in Michigan. It's beautiful here." She's like, "Just come home." And he's like, "I can't. I don't belong there." And she goes, "Everybody belongs here. It's LA. There's no bar for entry." And he's kind of like, "Oh yeah, I guess that's true."
Can I say something?
Yeah.
He does not belong in LA. He needs to stay the fuck away from LA. It is this is where like this whole thing fucking falls apart because he calls Diane because he can't fucking just move on. Like, and it's so goddamn frustrating because Bojack comes here and he fucking tears Eddie's life to shreds. and then
Yep.
fucking leaves to go back to LA. Like, oh man, it's just like he was making progress. He was, even though he was being a dick about it, he was making progress with Eddie, and he was forcing Eddie to do this, right? Like, it was going well, and he just can't fucking help himself, and it's so frustrating.
No, I agree. And he, Diane tells him a story about some yuppie in a coffee shop, and he loves it, you know, and he's like, I missed you. And she goes, I missed you too. And to me, it's not just about there's still, I think, an element of like the unrequited love he has for Diane.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
And it's unfortunate because, you know, that's not gonna work.
It's
like
just,
But so then the next morning he brings the wrecking crew in and argues with Eddie, and he goes, what am I gonna just sit in this house in self-loathing, waiting to die? Wow. Like, he basically describes Eddie's situation like, what a loser, you know, like, I wouldn't do that. And Eddie's like, well, what was this all for? He's like, I don't know, maybe it was a waste of time. And it's just like, the way Bojack says it, it almost is like, it makes the episode somewhat inconsequential, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like, he didn't learn anything. He's just gonna go back.
This is what he does.
And the whole big, like, where's Bojack? That because they ran, I know we talked about it a little bit, but they ran this gigantic media campaign about where's Bojack, and by episode 3, he's back in the same spot he was.
Yeah, because that's what he fucking
season.
does.
Right. The episode ends with the house being torn down.
Yes.
Over the credits, but before that, we cut back to
the flashback story.
The flashback where Joseph is berating Honey for putting herself and Beatrice in danger. And she's like, you know, I'm sorry. I miss Cracker Jack. I can't do this. I can't be alone. I can't be by myself. Please fix me. And we get a bit later, Beatrice sitting on the porch and Joseph going, hey, you know, your she had a bit of a surgery, and you can't fix the heart when the heart's broken, but you can fix the mind. And it really paints Joseph as a very evil person, which it's been played for laughs, but nothing about this guy besides maybe some poetic comments he's made. Nothing about this guy has been redeeming, and he doesn't do it here either. And he goes, you know, she'd really like to meet you, and she goes inside, and Beatrice can immediately sense that she's not herself, and she makes her promise that she'll never love anybody as much as she loved Cracker Jack.
And it's, I mean, she's gotten a lobotomy.
Yes, she got a lobotomy.
It's, and you know, we talk about, you know, he seems very sinister, but the person that invented the lobotomy won the Nobel Prize.
Oh yeah.
Like,
this was much more commonplace back then.
Yeah, this was believed to be good, you know, or effective, you know, like, yeah, this horrific, just absolutely horrific.
And she ends it with going, I've got half a mind.
Yep.
That's it. I got half a mind. She's right.
And I mean, it explains a lot about why Bojack's mother treated him the way that she did.
Yeah. Yeah. It's yeah. It's a very sobering, not fun scene.
No.
But yeah, I mean, there's more to say, but I can't say it. So we're just going to move on.
Yeah, we have more show to go.
We have more show to watch. But yeah, that's kind of it for the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Very good episode. One of my favorites. One of the ones I've watched the most for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I obviously you said it's a tough watch. We forgot to mention that when Bojack gets in his Tesla, he says, "As a great woman once said, suck a dick, dumb shits."
Yeah. No, I think this is one of my favorite episodes of the show. I mean, it's definitely up there. I don't know. I don't know if I'd say it's on the same level as like the Undersea episode. That episode is just really, really good.
Yeah.
But it's probably maybe number 2. You know, I don't know. That was a really good episode.
I think I like this one more, just because I like I think the dialogue's so well written, and obviously that episode doesn't really have a ton of dialogue.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But I think they're both top 5 episodes for me.
Yeah,
it might be fun. I mean, it'll be tough because we've spent so much time doing this, but it might be fun to do like a ranking or a tier list at some point of these episodes.
No, I think that'd be fun.
I think once we get to the end, but
yeah.
Yeah, so I guess let's go through the categories. What's your favorite animal-based bit?
I don't know. Do you have one?
I don't know that this is a bit, but at one point, and I noticed this while watching it this time, when Honey and Beatrice are going back to the car after she kind of crashes out.
Yeah.
There's a turtle kind of buffing a car.
Okay.
A young turtle, and I don't know that it's ever been confirmed, but I think it's supposed to be Lenny Turtletop.
I would love that.
I don't think they've ever said anything.
Look like him.
It looks a lot like him, but like a younger version, and turtles live for a long time.
Yeah.
And so that would make sense to me. So even though it's not specifically like an animal-based bit, I'm going to nominate that.
I think mine is the termites joke.
Oh, termite joke.
I really like the termites joke.
Termite joke is very good. What's your favorite bit overall?
Anything his grandfather says.
Joseph Sugarman is a delight.
Yeah, if I have to pick one, it's the most extreme of them, and it's an awful thing to say, but it's so fucking funny. Where he says, "If anyone's to blame, it's the Jews for pissing off Hitler so bad."
I like that one. I like anything he does a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I think he's such a caricature of that time, but like it's not that far off. you know? Yeah, I'll just align with you on that one. I think he's probably the funniest part of the episode.
Yeah.
Can I talk about something that I don't think is funny?
Oh yeah, go for it.
So when Cracker Jack and Honey are singing together, she starts singing the song, and she's like, "I will always think of you," and Cracker Jack goes, "Drink a brew."
Yeah,
and I'm like,
it's not funny.
Man, you really had the whole squad laughing with that one.
No,
that one's
not funny.
Hilarious, Lin-Manuel. I blame Lin-Manuel Miranda on that one.
It's probably his fault.
It's his fault for sure. And then what's your favorite quote?
So I'm gonna list 2. I'm gonna do my favorite funny quote and my favorite serious quote. Okay. My favorite funny quote is was as a modern American man, I am woefully unprepared to manage woman's emotion. I was never taught, and I will not learn.
That's a great quote.
The delivery of like the pause in between emotions and the rest of it, like unprepared to manage woman's emotion. I was never taught, and I will not learn. Just like it's so good. And for those serious one, I think it's only ghosts here in the winter is a fucking great line.
I'm gonna go with Time Zero. I think that's
yep.
I have a little more knowledge than you, and I think it's the most poignant quote.
Yep.
Also, I'm on IMDb like I always am when we do these episodes, and I just read something that I thought was interesting. All of the actors who play Beatrice's family are Tony Award winners. Matthew Broderick for Best Featured Actor in a Play and Best Actor in a Musical.
Okay.
Jane Krakowski for Best Featured Actress in a Musical. Lin-Manuel Miranda for Best Original Score twice and Best Book of a Musical.
Yeah.
And then Coleman Domingo is also a Tony nominee for Best Featured Actor in a Musical.
That's awesome.
So I thought that was interesting that they got some real Tony Award winning talent on there.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Yeah, so that's it for this episode. Next episode, Sean, is titled "Hooray, Todd Episode."
Oh man, what an episode title!
It's an 8.4 out of 10 on IMDb.
Mm-hmm.
Helpful to a fault, Todd is spread thin doing favors for Princess Carolyn, Mr. Peanut Butter, and a visitor with potential connection to Bojack.
Are we finally following up on that fucking That fucking girl from the end of season 3?
We might be.
The horse girl? Okay.
We might be. And I also want to, sometimes I like to give you a little teaser. Keith David plays somebody in this episode. And I
fucking love Keith David.
So I knew you would be excited about that.
Okay, I'm very excited.
But this is a good episode. It's a good, a lot of times BoJack will hit you with the feels.
Yeah.
And then they'll hit you with a bit of a funny palate cleanser episode.
Yeah, this feels like it's going to be a palate cleanser episode.
And it's a funny palate cleanser episode. It's good.
I can't wait.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. Sean, where can people find you?
I'm on Twitter at Sean_AFK.
And you can follow me on Twitter at SpikeGhettiBros and on Twitch at twitch.tv/SuperSpikeGhettiBros, even though I have not streamed in a very long time. Don't worry about it. Hopefully that will have changed by the time that this episode comes out. So yeah, that's it, everybody. We'll see you next time for episode 3 of season 4. And thanks for listening.
Suck a dick, dumb shits.
Bye.